How you doing? Hey, listen, just in case you're joining me for the very first time, my name is Glaze Gibbs, and this is my ministry. Hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey, listen, this is my ministry. Look at this. I, Glaze Gibbs, beyond lucky. If I can change, anybody can change. To get your signed copy, email me, Brian, BRIAN, GIBBS 1201 at yahoo.com. This is a blueprint that would help stop our children, your children, my children, to stop making that multi-billion-dollar prison system their permanent address, because crime doesn't pay. If I can change, anybody can change. Today, what I want to talk about the death of the recent rapper Mo3. And it was allegedly say that he was set up by a woman. You know, let's sit back and think about it. You know, the most powerful thing in the world is what is between a woman's leg. Okay? You know, let's sit back and think about it. That can stop a war. That can start a war. Like, look at it. And when you sit back, and that's why I say allegedly, they say that Mo3 death was caused, like he was set up by a woman. And even as I sit back and think about it, you know, if that's the case, like, man, that's some crazy stuff. But I look at it like, what could have been done differently? Like, come on, man. And what I call that is thinking with the wrong head. You know, we got men's two heads. You got the big head, and then you got the little head down there. And sometimes what you have to do is you can't think with that little head, because that little head would get you in trouble. You know, I'm thinking about a scenario, you know, way back when I was in the street, when I was making 40 a day, when I was making $40,000 a day. It's like, you know, a situation took place, whereas, you know, 3 guys got murdered into a bicycle shop. And when that happened, like back then, because of who I was and the things that I was into, my name came up with every homicide back then within the 5 borough. And what I look at, I didn't have nobody to blame but myself based upon my reputation. So when that happened, I knew the old timer that ran that bicycle shop. I knew him. Like, you know, like I say, he basically kind of raised me or whatever. I used to look up to him. So when that happened and me and him conversation, I said, look, man, I didn't have nothing to do with it. And he said, look, I know where it came from. But anyway, long story short, what had happened was, it was this young lady that contacted me during that period of time. And what she was telling me is, look, hey, that she was afraid, you know, because of the people that got killed in the bicycle shop. And she felt for some reason that the same individual that was responsible for it was going to eventually come after her. So now it's like out of nowhere. I haven't heard from this young lady probably in like, I don't know, like a few years. Now all of a sudden, back then, that's when we had pages. So she paged me. And when she paged me, I'm like, whoa, I wound up calling back the number to see who it is, and it was her. And she like, look, Glaze, you know, I'm scared, like this what took place. And, you know, I'm, you know, like right now I'm frightened. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm thinking because I be around there, like, you know, saying something's going to happen to me. These individuals might come after me or whatever. So me being me, you know, I'm thinking like, oh man, I always wanted to, you know, hit Shorty. And she knew that. So what wound up happening was when she called me out of clear blue sky, guess what? I'm thinking with the wrong head. So what I did was I got into my car, you know what I'm saying, at the time, with, you know what I'm saying, on one of my guys, he was driving, because I used to hate to drive. So he was driving. So we got into the Bobo. As we got into the Bobo, and we heading to the address that this young lady gave me. And as we heading there, and I'm saying to myself, like, you know, and I'm bouncing things off of him. I said, man, I ain't hear from this young lady, and I don't know when. And out of nowhere, she's calling me now. And, you know, like I told you, we don't have no guns, no bulletproof vests, no protection, no crew, no nothing. So as I'm heading there, and as we, you know, getting closer and closer, I'm just thinking, I'm just bouncing things off him, man. I haven't heard from him. And I don't know what the situation is. And I had heard something about who she was possible mess with. So, you know, as I'm thinking about it, and like I'm saying, as bad as I want to, like, you know what I'm saying, go get her. Like, I'm trying to call myself being a superhero because she calling me up and saying that she's afraid. So I'm going over there to call myself to protect her. Yeah, okay, sure. So as I'm going over there and I'm thinking and I'm bouncing things off my guy, and it is dawning on me, man, you know what? This didn't seem right. And what I did was I turned around. I turned around because I felt that it was a setup. And sometime right now, folks, what you have to do is you have to follow your instinct. You have to use the big head and follow your instinct and go with your gut feeling. And that always it stuck with me for a long, long time. And as time went on, I can remember like years later as I was into my bid. And just so happened I ran into the individual that's supposed to be responsible for those 3 bodies in that shop. And when I ran into him, when we started kicking it, one of the first things I asked him about was that incident. And, right now, nonchalantly, I didn't have nothing to do with that. I don't know what you're talking about. So as time went on and we got into the bid and we was around each other a little longer and we got to know each other better, he came clean. One time I asked him, I said, yo, man, you sure? And he came clean. He said, look, man, when I hit those 3 guys in that shop, he said, I was laying up in bed. And I was laying in bed with this young lady. And when I went like this, I just hit the bedpost. We was laying up in the bed after having sex. And I hit the bedpost, boom. And she said, baby, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, I got to get this guy. I got to get this dude. Say, right now, say, if anybody, the old time going to send after me, it's going to be Glaze. So the young lady say, hey, I can get him. He said, what you mean you can get him? I said, man, Glaze been wanting to hit me for a long time. So he say, he's right there in bed when she paged me. And when she paged me, what he wound up doing is right now is like, and I called back, he listened to it. And when I say that I was on my way, he said, look, man, he's got everybody. He got all the guys, like all his crews, getting them ready, coming over there with the heavy artilleries. He said, listen, man, right now, within a half an hour, they was there, like knee deep, like, with everything, all the heavy artillery. And he said they was going to light me up like a Christmas tree. So, like, what happened is, he said, look, man, when you say you was coming, we waiting on you. And then all of a sudden, as time went on, and we realized that you wasn't coming, he said, man, I'll punish her. And, like, he said, like, I said, hold on, wait, man, let me ask you a question, man. Okay, I know you was going to get me. I didn't have to, how can you be prepared for that? So, I know you was going to get me, but I want to ask you one question. Or you going to at least let me, get something first before you kill me? He said, hell no, man. But once again, what happened? I saved my life by listening to my instinct, by thinking, like I said right now, is like going back to the big head opposed to the little head. Because the little head would have got me in trouble, because once again, I wanted something. She knew that. And here it is. She was luring me to my death. You know why? Because I was thinking with the wrong head. So even right now, when you look at it, a guy like, Mo3, rapper, making plenty of money, and you sit back, like to me, with all that jewelry on, like where was your security? Like, let's sit back and look at it. Where was your security? Even though I was going over there to pick up the young lady with a buddy and we didn't have no security, but you still got to think with a security conscious. A lot of times people don't understand. When I used to hang out and I was in the street and I was like kind of like a public enemy #1, guess what? If I knew I was going somewhere that I didn't need security, that was different because nobody knew I was going there. But if I was going into areas when I knew it was rough, when I knew right now was my life was on the line, guess what? I had my bulletproof vest on, I had my guns, and my guys had their gun. When I was in my Cypress headquarters, when we used to come out that building, it was only like, like, hey, it's 2 staircases. I used to have 3, 4 guys going out one staircase, 3, 4 guys going out the other staircase. They had their guns out. We ready to go. We ready to rock and roll. So it was no defense for the element of surprise. Even when only time I felt safe and comfortable when I used to go to LaGuardia Airport and leave out of town. But once I got back to New York, I had my guys waiting. Couple cars. Soon I got in the car, I put my vest on. I'm ready to rock and roll. So even when you look at and you think about it, like what said, rest in peace to the rapper Mo3. May his soul rest in peace and his spirit be lifted. My deepest condolences to him, to his family, his friends, his fans. Because once again, guys, people do not understand. In that life, man, that's not the right way. We are better than that. And what we got to understand, don't be like me, where as far as like you do things now before you think about it. And then when you get older, you understand and realize like the foolish things that you did and all the mistake that you made. You know what? Listen, set good example. Do it right the first time. Like, okay, even when y'all guys out there, and this is another thing that you guys sit back and think about it. When you walking around with X amount of money on your neck, on your wrist, on your fingers, people are hungry. Look how many people got laid off. Look how many people don't got no job. Look how many people is like starving. Guess what? The economy is jacked. So you either got the have and the have not. So those that have, you definitely got to be on your P's and Q's, especially when you walking around with $50, $60, $100,000, around your neck, around your wrist. People don't make that in a year, guys. What are you thinking? Of course, you become a target. You need security. So don't go out there tempting people. I remember, when I was facing life, when I was like on Rikers Island in Brooklyn House, back in 86 to 87, I was walking around like with a nugget watch, a gold nugget watch. I was walking around with a link chain, a big gold house medallion. I was walking around with over $5,000 to $7,000 worth of jewelry on me. Okay? I didn't have no bell. But guess what? For the guys that had bail, I had their bail money on my wrist, around my neck. For what? Here it is to me. Guess what? If I got a bail and I see somebody walk around like that, I want to go home. I don't want to be trapped in these cages. Guess what? I'm going to go after them. But then, because of my reputation, because of who I was, I didn't care. I had a death wish, even as a kid, and I didn't even know that. So to me, by me wearing all that stuff around in jail, anybody can be had. Don't let nobody think that everybody can walk through jail and won't be no problem. That's not reality, man. Reality, I don't care where you at. Jail, prison, the street, anywhere. Anybody can be had at any given time. But what you have to do is security. You know what I'm saying? Think with this, your big head, opposed to your little head at all times. Because once again, it's no defense for the element of surprise. So you always have to be prepared. Like the boxer said, what they tell the boxer, keep your guards up at all times. So in the world of life, in the game of life, you got to keep your guards up at all times. And what we have to do, guys, I'm talking about the rappers, the entertainer, anybody that's successful out there. If you feel about wearing a bunch of jewelry is a sign of success, don't tease people. Don't go out there fronting, especially with people that don't have, man. Because they coming, man. You got the wolf that's hungry. You got the food and they don't have no food. Guess what? Why? They coming to get you. They coming to get you. So what you have to do is do not set yourself up. And even right now, getting back, as I was saying, with the late rapper Mo3, you know what? Guys, I'm saying girls, you know what? Here it is. Let's stop that devious stuff. Let's stop, later for that. When people coming at you, want you to get involved with something like, oh, wait a minute here. Understand what they doing. It's a different if you're setting somebody up for a surprise birthday party or get together. But to set somebody up to die, that's deep, man. But you'd be surprised. I was in that predicament. Only thing saved me, I started thinking with the right head opposed to thinking with the head down there. Listen, I am Brian Glaze Gibbs. Look at this. Get my merchandise. You know what I'm saying? You see this? Crime doesn't pay. Because you out there picking up that brick, throwing at the prison wall for absolutely nothing. That's where you're going to end up. You're going to end up in jail. You know what I'm saying? Forever. You know what I'm saying? Life. Nothing cool about that. Look at that. Nothing excited about being in jail. Look at that sucker. Look at that cell. You got everything. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. You got your bed. You got your sink. You got your toilet. Come on now. Your mirror. You got a views of the window for the outside. Sometimes you got that type of, window view. Sometimes you don't. But listen, get that to merchandise. Get your later for that. Get your crime doesn't pay. Get your book, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel, man. Get your signed copy of this book. It talk about the good. It talk about the bad. It talk about the ugly. It talk about everything. This is a blueprint that will stop your children, my children, the future generation, to stop them from making that multi-billion-dollar prison system their permanent address. Email me, Brian, BrianGibbs 1201 at yahoo.com. And listen, everybody, listen, I want this to be the people channel. I hit 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one for subscribing. Hit the like button, share. Like, this is my ministry. My story, my experience is my ministry. And what I'm going to do is I want this to be the people channel. Anybody got any content? And listen, please do not get offended by the things that I'm presenting on my platform, I am not seeking to offend. I'm seeking to educate. I'm seeking to let people understand that I was once the problem. Now I'm seeking to be part of the solution. Like, you know what? That's it. That's all this is about. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't have no time for negative or nonsense. The double ends, I do not have nothing to do with that. I don't have no time for that. Later for that. Once again, thank y'all for joining me. And look, hit that like button, subscribe, DM me. You know what I'm saying? Send me a message, email me. Folks, listen, my name is Glaze Gibbs, and I want each and every one of y'all, listen to the words that come out of my mouth. Crime doesn't pay. If I can change, anybody can change. You know why? Because change comes from where? Change comes from within. Change comes from you have to want to change. Listen, thank y'all. Have a good day.